Okay, today we're talking all about agoraphobia. And if you don't know what that is, stay tuned because it's really important that you figure it out. And we're going to talk all about it, how to deal with it, and things like that. Okay, so picture this. You're about to step outside, but suddenly your heart races. You feel dizzy, and an overwhelming sense of panic sets in. For millions with agoraphobia, this isn't imagination, it's reality. My name is Ricky Brandon, and I'm a vitality specialist, but I also have a big brother with agoraphobia. And today we're exploring this condition, its impact, and how we can be a part of the solution. As a sibling of someone with agoraphobia, I've seen firsthand how it affects people's lives. And now you might think that agoraphobia just means a fear of public spaces, but it's much, much more than that. It's an intense fear of situations where an escape might be tough or help hard to find. So let me share with you some interesting things about agoraphobia. About 1.3% of people in the US deal with agoraphobia. That's a lot of folks struggling. In this video, we're going to talk about the symptoms, how it impacts daily life, and ways we can support those affected. I think you'll find this information really helpful, especially if you know someone dealing with this invisible challenge. All right, let's talk about the nitty-gritty of living with agoraphobia. You might think it's just about avoiding crowded places, but it's so much more complex. What if I told you that for some people, the fear is so intense that they recognize it as irrational, yet they feel powerless to overcome it? This internal struggle is just the tip of the iceberg. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine waking up knowing you need to go grocery shopping. For some of us, it's a simple errand, but for some with agoraphobia, it can feel like preparing for a dangerous expedition. Your heart starts racing, your palms get sweaty, and you might even feel nauseous. The physical symptoms are real and intense, making it even tougher. Even just the thought of leaving home is overwhelming. Now, you might be wondering, why don't they just push through it? Well, it's not that simple. Agoraphobia often leads to avoidance behavior. It's like your brain is constantly on high alert, telling you that the outside world is unsafe. This can result in people isolating themselves, sometimes staying home for extended periods. We're talking weeks, months, or even years. But the impact goes beyond just staying indoors. Agoraphobia takes on a serious emotional toll. People often feel helpless, embarrassed, and like they've lost control of their lives. It's like being trapped in an invisible prison of your own making. And that can really mess with your self-esteem and mental health. Recent studies have shown that untreated agoraphobia can lead to some pretty serious consequences. We're talking financial hardships because it becomes difficult to work, increased risk of depression, and significant drop in overall quality of life. Simple things like running errands, meeting friends for coffee, or even attending important events become monumental challenges. Here's something that might surprise you. Many people with agoraphobia are fully aware that their fear is irrational, but knowing that doesn't make it any easier to overcome. It's like their logical mind is at war with their emotions, and that internal conflict can be exhausting and frustrating. One thing I've learned from my research is that agoraphobia often develops after a stressful life event or a panic attack. It's like the brain goes into overdrive trying to protect itself, then ends up creating a cycle of fear and avoidance that's hard to break. So why am I sharing this with you? Because understanding is the first step to supporting those who struggle with agoraphobia. It's not about laziness or lack of willpower. It's real condition that requires compassion and proper treatment. So also, my brother grew up having agoraphobia, but he didn't know what it was. No one in the family knew what it was. He just felt terrible about himself. And it was a news story that changed his life. My uncle videotaped a news story about agoraphobia to share with my brother. And for the first time in his life, he realized he was not just a big loser. He recognized himself in the story and asked my other brother, to help him find a doctor who could help him. My hope is that perhaps this video might be shared with someone like my brother and help them find the support that they need to live a life filled with more vitality and happiness. Now that we understand the challenges, let's talk about solutions. What if I told you that there's a way to turn that seemingly insurmountable mountain of fear back into a simple grocery store trip? Recent studies have uncovered some powerful strategies that can help break the chains of agoraphobia. I've been diving deep into the research, and I'm excited to share what I've learned with you. First up, let's talk about the gold standard in agoraphobia treatment, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. This isn't just your average therapy session. CBT is like a personal trainer for your mind, helping you reshape those negative thought patterns that fuel anxiety. It's about learning to recognize and challenge those irrational fears, replacing them with more realistic, positive thoughts. But here's where it gets really interesting. Exposure therapy, which is often part of CBT. It's like a gradual workout plan for facing your fears. You start small, maybe just imagining going to the store, and you work your way up to actually doing it. It's not about giving into the deep end, diving into the deep end. It's about building your confidence step by step. Now, I know some of you might be thinking that sounds great, but what if I need a little extra help? Well, that's where the medications come in. Things like SSRIs or tricyclic antidepressants can be a real game changer for these people, especially when combined with therapy. It's like giving your brain a little boost to help you tackle those challenges. But listen, I'm not just here to talk about professional treatments. There are some amazing self-help strategies that you can use right now. Relaxation techniques like deep breathing or mindfulness can be super effective in calming that anxiety when it starts to creep up. And here's something that might surprise you. Regular exercise can be a powerful tool in managing anxiety. It's not just good for your body, it's great for your mind too. One thing I really want to stress is the importance of early intervention. Agoraphobia isn't something that just goes away on its own. If left untreated, it can actually get worse over time. That's why it's crucial to reach out for help as soon as you start noticing symptoms. You know, one of the experts I was reading quoted something that really stuck with me. They said, the goal is not so much to get rid of the attacks, but to help patients become less afraid of them. Because when a person becomes less afraid, he or she has fewer attacks. I think that's such a powerful way to look at it. It's not about eliminating fear completely. It's about learning to coexist with it and not let it control your life. Now, you might be thinking that's great for a person with agoraphobia, but what can I do to help? Well, I've been digging into some fascinating research about the role of support systems. It turns out that your understanding and actions could be the missing piece in someone's journey to freedom from agoraphobia. Let's talk about how you can become a powerful ally in breaking down those walls. Did you know that family and friends play a crucial role in supporting individuals with agoraphobia? It's true. Your encouragement and understanding during recovery can make a world of difference. One of the most important things you can do is encourage professional help. Many people with agoraphobia find it tough to seek treatment on their own because of their fears. That's where you come in. You can be their cheerleader, gently nudging them towards getting the help they need. Now, I want you to remember something really important. Patience is key. Recovery from agoraphobia isn't a sprint. It's more like a marathon. It takes time for someone to face their fears and gradually re-enter public spaces. So don't rush them. Be there, be supportive, and celebrate every small victory along the way. Here's another crucial tip. Avoid minimizing their experiences. I know it might be tempting to say things like, just relax, or it's all in your head, but that can actually do more harm than good. Instead, acknowledge their fears as valid. This creates a supportive environment where they feel understood and respected. Let me share something I learned in my research that really stuck with me. One individual said, being stuck in fear can be just as disabling as being physically paralyzed. That really highlights the importance of empathy in supporting our loved ones, doesn't it? Now let's talk about practical steps you can take. Creating a structured daily routine can be incredibly beneficial for someone with agoraphobia. It provides a sense of predictability and control, which can be really comforting. You could help them set up a schedule that includes small, manageable tasks outside the home. Another great idea is to look into support groups. These can provide a safe space for sharing experiences and coping strategies. You could offer to help find a suitable group or even accompany them to meetings if they're comfortable with letting you go with them. One thing that's really important, and I can't stress this enough, is having open conversations about mental health. It helps reduce the stigma and promotes understanding. By talking openly and honestly about agoraphobia, you're creating an environment where your loved one feels safe and supported. Here's something interesting. Did you know that some therapists offer home visits or telehealth options for those unable to leave their homes? This can be a game changer for assessing care. You could help research and find these options and help them make initial contact if needed. All right, let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot about agoraphobia, what it is, how it affects people, and ways to treat it. Remember, it's not just about fear of open spaces. It's a complex condition that can really impact someone's life. But here's the good news. There's hope. With the right treatment and support, people can break free from agoraphobia. Cognitive behavioral therapy, medication, and self-help strategies can make a real difference. And that's where you come in. Your understanding and support can be a game changer for someone struggling with agoraphobia. If you know someone dealing with this, share this video. It might help them feel understood and give them the push they need to seek help. Together, we can break down the walls of this invisible prison and help people reclaim their lives. Remember, every step towards freedom counts, no matter how small. Let me know how you've dealt with this and your fears. Let me know if you have agoraphobia. If you are someone helping and have a family member or a friend with agoraphobia, let me know how your life has changed once you've figured this out, and let me know how you're supporting them. I would love to hear that. Thank you, and live life with vitality.